President Trump said that he's issuing a sweeping recall of former President Biden's executive actions that he says were signed illegally by the now infamous Autopen. Trump took to Truth Social on Friday, writing, "Any document signed by Sleepy Joe Biden with the Autopen, which was approximately 92% of them, is hereby terminated and of no further force or effect." He went on, "I am hereby canceling all executive orders and anything else that was not directly signed by crooked Joe Biden because the people who operated the Autopen did so illegally. Joe Biden was not involved in the Autopen process, and if he says he was, he will be brought up on charges of perjury." It's important to note the use of an Autopen itself is not illegal. Trump himself has used the Autopen in the past, but he argues it was used by people around Biden to circumvent a mentally declining president.
Now, last month, House Republicans did urge the DOJ to investigate Biden's executive actions signed by the Autopen, saying that they were viewed as orders as void, arguing there wasn't proper written approval from Biden. But former President Biden has consistently denied that allegation, saying earlier this year that, quote, "I made the decisions during my presidency. I made the decisions about the pardons, executive orders, legislation, and proclamations. Any suggestion that I didn't is ridiculous and false." As for the claim that Biden's denials amount to perjury, Biden has not publicly testified under oath regarding the Autopen, making any charges of perjury unlikely to stick. Additionally, there's no public record of how many documents were signed with the Autopen during Biden's presidency. So much to do in this country, and Trump has so much time for nonsense. Donald Trump remains insanely fixated on Joe Biden, almost weekly attacks about what connects him and all the things going wrong to President Biden. We have the wars in Gaza and Ukraine, Biden's fault, not like Russia's fault.
They are Biden's
Not
fault.
Russia's fault, not their aggressor's fault, they're Biden's fault. We have the Federal Reserve and the interest rate, Biden's fault. It's like, what are you talking about? Every single thing, every single thing, he needs to move on. We are deep in the holiday.
Move on.
No, he needs deep in the holiday season of the next presidency, and all you have to talk about with a 36% approval rating is what Biden did. Every time he even tried to look at what happened in this recent incident with the National Guard and say this is Biden's fault, even though he approved the asylum. He was the one who said the final yes or no. Yes, we allowed, like you said in your radar, people to come to this country who helped and assisted.
Well, we're going to talk about that in the next segment. So
but
we'll
I'm just
circle
saying,
back.
like, everything is Biden's fault. That's my bigger point, is that every single thing is Biden's fault. He needs to figure out what he plans to do moving forward. The Autopen, which he also used, is not illegal, as you pointed out. So him continuing to say he's going to take the time out of his day to eradicate everything that Biden has accomplished because he used the Autopen, same thing that Obama used, the same thing that he's used, is ridiculous.
But it's different in Biden's case because Biden was not mentally competent and didn't know what he was doing and wasn't present for his presidency, and so his are suspect. Now, I don't know whether this contention by President Trump will stand up in, I suppose, court. I suppose it eventually would come before the Supreme Court to make a determination whether the Biden pardons were valid. I would hope that they are not, because I think Biden's decision to pardon his family members and Dr. Fauci were catastrophic, and I do not think Dr. Fauci should be pardoned, and I think he should be, in fact, investigated for the origins of the pandemic. So I would love to have these things undone. Now, do I think that argument is likely to prevail? I'm not convinced by Republican arguments in that direction, because Biden clearly had the authority to pardon whoever he wants. As the president has that power, Trump has made use of that power to pardon a lot of people. Biden has that power. The people I would be most eager to walk the pardons back for are the people he was clearly aware that he was pardoning. Fauci, January 6th committee people, his family members. If he's aware of anything, he's aware he pardoned his son Hunter. It's very clear that he did. So whether it was done with, the Autopen just, like, it just, you touch it and it signs it, right?
It's a machine that basically replicates your signature.
Yeah, so it's not, it would be invalid, I guess, if he handed that pen to someone else and they used his signature. But we're not presenting any evidence that that's what happened. And you can't haul him up for perjury because he didn't make the statement under oath. But I don't know. I would need tremendous countervailing evidence that someone other than him used the pen, and they haven't presented that, other than Biden's own mental confusion about what he was doing, and not, which again is not nothing, but doesn't seem so likely to me to stand up in court. I wish it would, because the pardon of Fauci in particular, in my view, should be walked back.
If we're going to go over pardons, just to park that in the parking lot, we should not pardon the entire January 6th criminals that committed criminal activity. So we should certainly review Trump's mental capacity to pardon those people that.
Whoa. Okay, I don't support pardoning those people, but Trump had the authority to pardon them.
Yes, and so was he alert and available in the mind enough to?
Lindsay,
and then
of course he was.
He certainly doesn't remember pardoning the crypto billionaire that he pardoned. We talked about that. He went on an interview and said, "What? My son just told me about something, and I don't even know who that is." You don't know who the crypto billionaire that helped terrorist organizations fund themselves. That's another example. But again, I was giving you an example. Yeah, it should make you uncomfortable because it's not right that he doesn't know who he's pardoning. So the Autopen is something.
Biden know he couldn't recall. He didn't know that
they both can't recall.
The cash for
he doesn't
judge.
recall this. He doesn't know this crypto guy. So they both can't recall. So that's an equal. I'm just giving you apples to apples.
Yeah.
Yes. Right. So if he's going to go on this rampage about Biden and do the same exact things that he said publicly, and then argues that his mental capacity is at top tier, even though he just got the MRI and won't release the results, then we need to expect that we should be treating presidents the same. And if we're not expecting him to explain every single one of his pardons, we certainly shouldn't ask Biden to do the same thing, because Biden has done interviews. Biden seems perfectly available. The man is fighting cancer right now, and so give him the space to fight his cancer battle and hopefully win his cancer battle. But instead, President Trump wants to spend hours of time and resources on pursuing every single thing he can in relation to President Biden. I call that a little bit of obsession, when there are many things on the docket that he should handle. And I know you don't like when I bring it back to real life issues, but as we hit the holidays and Americans are struggling, and he has a 36% approval rating, now is high time to focus on the issues that you said you would deliver on as we end the first year of your presidency.
I just, for the life of me, I don't understand why getting to the bottom of whether U.S. funding was responsible for the origins of the pandemic that killed millions of people should not be somewhat of a priority. And the pardon of Fauci stands in the way of that.
Oh my gosh.
It's just, it's not a trivial thing.
You have to let it go.
It was the most catastrophic thing that happened in 100 years.
COVID was catastrophic.
You can't tell me to let COVID go.
I'm not telling you to let it go.
It was a big thing.
I'm not telling you to let it go. I'm saying that it could have been handled better, but here we are. What do you want to do?
I want to avoid
Biden
it from
tried his
happening
best.
again.
Trump, I guess, tried his best when he was in office during the pandemic. People really did the best.
I'm not talking about the mitigation efforts. I'm talking about the creation of the disease itself, plausibly alleged to have been in a lab that received U.S. funding that Fauci signed off on.
He pardoned
That's
Fauci
what I'm concerned
because
about.
Trump goes after his political enemies, whether you have information and facts that are true or not. Just like he's presenting this argument about the Autopen with no real information or facts that someone other than President Joseph Biden signed them papers with an Autopen or pushed the button. He's presenting facts about wanting to pursue Dr. Fauci for a variety of reasons that are all personal. President Trump doesn't like Dr. Fauci, and nobody wants to spend the time pursuing the COVID doctor 5 years after COVID, when people have other things that they would like to do.
But the funding is ongoing. What if COVID?
He didn't run on
again,
pursuing
we do the same
Fauci.
thing?
He didn't run on pursuing.
I don't care.
Fauci. Why do you want
care.
To spend
I just
time
want
and
it done.
doing that?
Because it's important. Because I want to avert another pandemic that kills millions of people. I mean, it's not personal. I don't want that to happen again. And it
we're
seems
all on the same page. And Fauci is.
Well, we're not all on the same page if we're not doing any analysis of how this happened.
These issues happening, you can't cut funding to the same people that do the research for these issues never happening again.
I'm cutting
the president and
cutting funding to the
we're
research
trying to
if
cut
the research caused it.
No, that's not the only thing we're cutting funding for. The president tried to slash endless funding that would go looking into preventing another disease like COVID. So if he's really concerned about preventing that happening again, it's not pursuing Dr. Fauci and putting him in jail.
If we'd done less research, we would not have had COVID in the first place. It seems like the best possible case for doing less scientific research, in my view. Up next, President Trump promises to permanently pause migration from third world countries after the deadly National Guard shooting in D.C. Don't go anywhere.